Hi everyone, it's Lena and I wanted to tell you all about how I found out I was psychic. When I was younger, I had very intuitive dreams about, what would happen in the future. Some people would call it premonitions. And at first I didn't really think much about it because I was very young. I was around 5 to 12 years old when they first started happening. Let's give you a shorter time frame. 5 to 9 years old was around when it first started, and it was very strong around then. I would have multiple dreams about what would happen in the future, and I would just tell my mom some of them if I thought they were of concerns. However, I didn't really think I was psychic at that time. I was just thinking that God had a message and He sent it through me so that I could talk to those people before anything bad happened. That's probably not even as complicated as I thought. I was just thinking, let's check on these people. Like, I love them and I don't want this to happen. The first one I'll describe to you was around when I was 9 years old. I had a dream about my biological father being robbed. Mind you, me and my biological father were not close. We weren't as connected, and we didn't live together. We didn't talk much. So I don't know why I had this dream or how I could feel his future, I guess. But I had a dream that my biological father got robbed, and in the dream I vividly remembered the man who was going to rob him was going to have a skull knife handle attached to the knife, of course, and he was going to have his face covered. That's all I remembered. That's all I remember now, I know for sure. And he was going to rob my dad. So I told my mom the next morning because it scared me. Being that young and seeing something that scary was not something at all I was used to. So I told my mom about it, and she said, let's call your dad. We called him a few days later, and he told us that actually happened, except it wasn't a knife, it was a gun, and the man had a skull bandana on. So I had details a little off. However, I felt like the older that you got, the less intuitive your dreams were going to be, or even your life was going to be, because you weren't accepting that gift fully and you were becoming more of structure. But I had another dream a few years after that. We're going to fast forward a little bit, and that one was about my grandmother. I was close to my grandmother at the time. In the dream, she was admitted to the hospital because she became ill. Like, it was really quick. It wasn't like she was sick for a while or anything. It was just she became sick from something. And after the dream, I got really scared. In the morning, I woke up. I was like, I don't like that dream. I told my stepfather about it because me and him were really, really close. And I think I was scared because I knew I had premonitions before, and I didn't want that to happen. Also, there was a different feeling I would get when I had premonitions, and somehow I knew it was a premonition and not just a regular dream. So I was really scared about it, and then, of course, a few hours later, my stepfather got a call saying that my grandmother was admitted to the hospital. Now, I was freaking out because I was like, in the dream, she was not okay at all. And luckily, in real life, she was okay. So that was a huge relief. Like, as soon as she was released, I was just like, yes, because I love my grandmother so much. And, I didn't want her to be ill for a long period of time. Fast forward. So I hadn't completely accepted that I was psychic yet, because I thought psychics were just psychic. Like, they knew everything. They saw everything. Just like movies, they see everything. I wasn't thinking that psychic abilities were along the lines of just having dreams every now and then, every few years. So fast forward to more recent, a month ago. I was at my in-laws' house typing up some stuff because I do music, and I was just, I was keeping myself busy. I was working out while I was doing this stuff too, because I hadn't really been to Zumba for a few weeks because I had to go back to the States to go visit family, and I live in Italy right now. So I was up at like 3 a.m. Should have been asleep, but I wasn't. And one of the scariest things that had happened to me was that night when a shadow person ran at me, like full speed. I jumped up from my feet and was freaking out. I was like, everybody sleep. Did anybody see that? Like, what is going on? It was the weirdest thing I had ever seen. And it freaked me out. I was like, I'm going to bed. I cuddled up next to my husband. You know, I like my space when I'm asleep, but I was right underneath my husband. I was not playing that. And some reason, I just knew I always felt protected around my husband. Not just because he's my husband, but just even as my best friend, when he was my best friend, I felt protected around him. And I don't know, I didn't like that. So I was talking to my sister-in-law. I was like, we need to go see a psychic because I had been seeing these numbers when I came back to the States. 777, 555, and those numbers basically mean that something is coming your way, your angels are protecting you, you're about to become successful, stuff like that. And I was like, you know what, I really need to figure out what's going on right now because I don't like some of it, and I do like some of it, and I need to know what's going on. So we went to go see a psychic, and she actually informed me that I have psychic abilities. However, I just needed to open my third eye because it wasn't open yet. So I got really excited, but at the same time, I wasn't really excited. I was like battling myself because it's cool, you know, to see in movies, but having shadow people running at you is not cool at all. It's not how I wanted to live life. That's not how I even had life in my head. There was no connection to life in shadow people in my head. So I didn't like that. But after that, I started meditating and trying to find my peace. And oddly, the first time I really meditated, my brother-in-law was guiding me through it. I felt so much peace after about 7 minutes that it was ridiculous. I never felt peace that I could remember in my life. So that I just couldn't let that go. So I had to keep meditating after that. And I've been meditating for probably a few weeks now, but now I'm actually doing it around 10 minutes to 20 minutes instead of just doing, 5 minutes or short little times where I'm like, oh, I can't do this anymore, seeing stuff I don't want to see, because I would see stuff I didn't want to see and I didn't like it. But my next steps are just going to be continuously meditating, getting more crystals. I've been getting these crystals within the last few weeks. I have an amethyst and a rose quartz over here, and I have tarot cards that I got because now that I'm psychic, I feel like I should really practice those abilities of being intuitive and psychic. And I just want to, be well on this journey. I want to succeed in this journey because I do think it's a part of my life's journey, because when it popped up, I just felt like it was right. And it was weird because I was like, well, I'm not really choosing. Like, I didn't feel like I was choosing it. I felt like it was more so coming to me, and it scared me because I just didn't like the whole thought of being a psychic and a medium. Although the psychic part is pretty cool, but the whole seeing spirits and stuff, which I have been seeing for a while, was creeping me out. Like, we'll get into that, but I didn't really like the fact that creepy stuff was just happening. So it was throwing me off. But, people see it in movies, they think it's cool, but trust and believe, everything that's awesome comes with a price. So we'll see where this journey takes me. That's why I thought I should start sharing with my YouTube channel so that we can see the growth, because I have a feeling I'll be growing very well on this journey. So we'll see. Ciao!